The night was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the rhythmic crashing of waves against the rocky shores. Our little coastal village, nestled far away from the bustling world, found solace in the guiding light of the isolated lighthouse that stood sentinel on the desolate cliff. It was an ordinary evening when my fellow keepers and I noticed something peculiar about the lighthouse beam. The familiar sweep of light seemed to harbour an otherworldly secret, a pulsating energy that beckoned us to explore the mysteries hidden within its glow. Our curiosity led us to the lantern room, where the ancient machinery hummed with a strange resonance. The beam, once a source of comfort for sailors navigating treacherous waters, now held an ominous allure that tightened our chests with each passing moment. As the days unfolded, the isolation of the lighthouse intensified. The once welcoming warmth of the lantern room felt like a prison, and the relentless crashing of waves below echoed like a foreboding drumbeat. One by one, my companions succumbed to a creeping despair that seemed to seep from the very stones of the lighthouse. Shadows danced on the walls, twisting and contorting in a macabre dance that mirrored the malevolent forces we had unwittingly unleashed. The isolation gnawed at our sanity, and the slow descent into madness became palpable. Whispers filled the air, disembodied voices that seemed to echo from a dimension beyond our understanding. Each night, the beam became a portal to something beyond our comprehension. A peculiar fog enveloped the lighthouse, distorting reality and playing tricks on our already fragile minds. Time lost its meaning as we struggled to discern the boundary between the physical and the metaphysical. Faces appeared in the fog, contorted in agony or twisted into malevolent grins. They beckoned us, their haunting eyes pleading for release from the torment that bound them to the spectral realm. We were prisoners in our own sanctuary. The lighthouse, once a beacon of hope, now stood as a gateway to a dimension of suffering. The beam, a conduit for the lost souls trapped in the void, cast its light on our tortured existence. Each night, we witnessed the tormented spirits pleading for freedom, their anguished cries blending with the haunting winds that swept through the desolate cliffs. Madness clung to us like a shadow, and we became entwined with the very forces we sought to understand. Our days blurred into a nightmarish existence, haunted by the spectral phantoms that lurked in the corners of our fractured minds. The ties to the ethereal prison, we dismantled the lighthouse machinery. The rhythmic hum ceased, and the beam faded into darkness. Yet, the malevolence persisted, clinging to the very stones that bore witness to our descent into the abyss. The oppressive darkness that once surrounded the lighthouse now engulfed the entire village. The crashing waves echoed with the weight of our shared despair, and the once welcoming light had become a void that swallowed hope. As the last keeper standing, I gazed upon the desolation that consumed our once vibrant village. The isolation had claimed us, and the lighthouse, our once reliable beacon, had become a cursed monument to our collective unravelling. The distant sound of crashing waves echoed through the silent coastal village. The lighthouse, now a looming silhouette against the moonlit sky, stood as a testament to the malevolent forces that lurked within its walls. The isolation had devoured us, leaving behind a chilling legacy of a once beautiful beacon turned into a portal to the beyond. And so, the isolated lighthouse, once a guardian of the lost, now stands as a haunting reminder of the thin veil that separates the realms of the living and the beyond. The darkness that clung to its stones whispers a cautionary tale to those who dare to explore the mysteries hidden within the beam. A tale of isolation, madness, and a beacon that led us astray. The coastal winds carried with them a mournful wail, as if the very soul of the lighthouse lamented the tragedy that unfolded within its walls. Our once close-knit community now lay scattered and broken, the remnants of our shared existence haunting the desolate landscape. Memories of laughter and camaraderie were replaced by the ghostly echoes of our own tormented cries. The lighthouse, once a source of comfort and guidance, had become a spectral prison for the lost souls ensnared in its ethereal grasp. I found myself wandering the village, now a ghost town bathed in an eerie half-light. Shadows clung to the crumbling buildings like spectres of the past, whispering tales of our collective descent into madness. The remaining villagers, those who had not ventured too close to the malevolent lighthouse, spoke in hushed tones about the cursed beacon that had stolen their loved ones. They avoided the cliffs, casting furtive glances towards the looming silhouette that stood as a silent sentinel to our demise. Sleep became elusive, haunted by nightmares that merged with the reality of our waking hours. The line between dream and wakefulness blurred, as if the very fabric of our existence had unravelled in the wake of the lighthouse's malevolence. In the dead of night, the fog that clung to the village streets took on a life of its own. Faces materialized in the mist, contorted in agony, or twisted into ghastly smiles. The lost souls sought solace, their eyes pleading for release from the otherworldly prison we had become. A spectral chorus echoed through the silence, the anguished cries of those trapped between worlds. I, the last keeper, bore the weight of their torment as I stumbled through the deserted streets, a vessel for the suffering that had consumed us all. The village graveyard, once a place of rest, now lay disturbed by the malevolent energy that emanated from the lighthouse. Tombstones stood as solemn witnesses to the tragedy, their inscriptions telling tales of lives cut short by the beacon's dark influence. It became clear that the only way to break free from the suffocating grip of the lighthouse's curse was to confront the otherworldly forces that held us captive. With trepidation, I ascended the desolate cliffs, the looming structure casting a foreboding shadow over the path ahead. The lantern room, now devoid of its once pulsating glow, stood as a silent witness to our collective folly. As I approached, the air grew thick with an oppressive energy, and the very stones seemed to reverberate with the echoes of our shared madness. In a desperate attempt to sever the ethereal connection, I dismantled the remnants of the lighthouse machinery. The rhythmic hum ceased, and the oppressive darkness lifted, revealing the stark reality of the shattered village below. The malevolent forces that had plagued us dispersed like the dissipating fog, leaving behind a silence that hung heavy in the air. The lighthouse, stripped of its cursed power, stood as a hollow monument to the collective nightmare that had unfolded within its walls. The distant sound of crashing waves echoed through the silent coastal village. As the first rays of dawn broke through the lingering darkness, I stood amidst the ruins of the once isolated lighthouse. The village, now free from the suffocating grasp of the otherworldly forces, began the slow process of healing. Yet, the haunting memories of our shared descent into madness lingered, a cautionary tale etched into the very fabric of our existence.